What is sin? Understanding that the soul that sins shall die, and that is the sin of Adam that got him expelled from the garden, it becomes us to answer the question, what is sin? So here it is. Sin is any want of conformity unto, that is, it's any lacking in us to conform to God's righteous requirements, or transgression of the law of God. So I'll say it completely. Sin is any want of conformity unto or transgression of the law of God. How do we know what sin is? Sin is transgression of the law. That's what sin is. God has given us his righteous requirements. They've been revealed to man. And they may be disobeyed in one of two ways. You can either fail to live up to his righteous requirements. That is, in your attempt to live up to his standard, you can just fail to meet it. And you can fail by actively disobeying and doing what he has commanded you not to do, or you can fail by not doing what he has commanded you to do. So do you see that there's two different ways? I'll say them again. You can either fail because he commands you to do something. Let's say, honor your father and mother. And if you fail to meet that positive command, you lack the righteousness that he requires, and you've sinned. Because he's given you a righteous requirement and you failed to meet it. Or you can do those things that he has commanded you not to do. So in this case, God gives a command. He says, thou shalt not lie. So do you see how one is a command that's stated positively and another one that's stated negatively? If he says, honor thy father and thy mother, we would call that a positive command. If he says, thou shalt not lie, we might call that a negative command. Not positive or negative in the sense of one is happy and one is sad or something like that. We just mean in the way in which it's stated. And all of God's commands can be stated either positively or negatively. And it's important for you to understand this when defining what sin is. Sin is any want of conformity unto or transgression of the law of God. So failing to meet his righteous requirement, that is, honor your father and mother, failing to meet that standard, or transgression of the law of God, we might look at the negative commands when he says, thou shalt not do X, Y, Z. And then if you go and do it, that's a transgression of his law. He said no, and you said yes on this side. Do you see that? He says no lying, and you say yes lying. And on the other hand, he says, yes, honor your mother and father, and you say no, honoring mother and father. So on the one hand, you've failed to live up to a righteous requirement. You lack conformity to God's law on the one hand. And on the other hand, you've actually transgressed his law by doing that which he said not to do. So hopefully that was clear to you. I promise if you listen to it again, I think it'll be even a little bit more clear. Next time, we'll look at what was the sin of Adam and Eve. I wish you well.